What's up, everybody? This is another episode of SPORTS-REUBEN-LIFE. This is a special episode. They're actually all special episodes. That's kind of corny to say that. Sorry about that. Anyways, what I want to talk about today, okay? I want to talk about the battle for LA, the battle for Southern California. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you just do. But if you don't, I'm going to explain it to you right now. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the battle for LA, it's not the Lakers versus the Clippers. That was never a battle, okay? The battle for LA is USC, the Trojans football team, versus the UCLA Bruins, right? Everybody's divided. Everybody has their opinion of who's going to win. The USC Trojans are ranked number 23 this year. UCLA, unfortunately, has no ranking. So it's going to have very little impact on the Pac-12 standings because it was Pac-10 for many years. It was first Pac-8. But I wanted to give a little insight as to how this is so interesting, right? Because every year you have it at the Coliseum and at the Rose Bowl, respectively. USC's home field advantage is the Coliseum. But everybody's all over the place. The biggest difference is that the Coliseum, USC's home field, is coincidentally connected to the USC campus. So kids can literally walk to the game, okay? That is the interesting thing about it. Now, the Rose Bowl, where UCLA plays, you got to travel a little bit distance because, let's face it, in order to make a stadium in Brentwood, aka Beverly Hills, it costs a lot of money. So they weren't going to spend all that money at the time because it was getting expensive quick. So they have to travel a little bit, right? So it's a weird dynamic of how the location of the home teams, right? So in a weird way, UCLA, it's almost a quicker drive. In some respect, it's a quicker drive to get to the Coliseum, right? Interesting thing. This year it's going to be Saturday at the Coliseum. It's going to be a packed house. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about was, what are some memorable games, right? And I was doing some research today on the internet, and there was some memorable games. Now, the game that I could have talked about was this game where O.J. Simpson played it. They called it the game of the century, but I'm going to leave that alone, right? One of the memorable games I remember, and this was in the heydays of Pete Carroll and the Trojans, and when they were just beating everybody up, right? If you remember watching the Trojans in that time, around 2003, 4, 5, it was like must-watch football, dude. Reggie Bush, now he had a tremendous NFL career, and he did some amazing things, but that dude was just flat out electric, okay? That game that he had against UCLA, they put a complete stomping on UCLA. The Bruins knew that they were good. USC, was tremendous. And Reggie Bush had that famous where he leaped into the end zone like sideways. He did it in the NFL too. But that's kind of what really, like, he would be highlighted all the time in local TV, right? And this is in the time, you got to remember, 2005, it's 15 years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago. But in terms of like exposure for sports, it is giant, right? That's night and day. That's before social media, YouTube. I think maybe MySpace was the only thing, 2004 or 5. That might be, I think that's when YouTube just got started. So that being said, it was the biggest thing. This guy was on Sports Illustrated. Reggie Bush was the man. He was the man of the town. Now, obviously, those other issues, we're not going to talk about this. We're specifically talking about the USC versus UCLA game, battle for LA, so to say, or battle for SoCal, right? That's kind of what it is. It's the bragging rights, right? Now, there have been games where UCLA has upset USC when there was a lot on the line, where UCLA wasn't ranked very high and USC was trying to get, because before the college championship games, if you were ranked 1 in the final polls, you were national champs. That's the way it worked, right? And so obviously, if they can extrapolate, if you keep winning your games, that you're going to stay number 1 if you keep beating these teams handily. And so that's why the upsets were such a big deal. Now it's not so much, right? Everything is computerized. Everything is been figured out ahead of time. Well, if they're based on strength of schedule, blah 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 blah, all that other minutia, right? But back in those days, which is not that far ago, it was a little bit more analog, right? Heck, there was no iPhones back then, so it's not like everybody was taking 1,000 pictures, right? When I was doing research for this, you start looking on the internet and you can see the difference in the number of pictures that are on display on the internet versus a current USC game. And USC is nowhere as famous as they are now versus the way they were in Pete Carroll's day. Pete Carroll's days, USC was like the campus, dude. Like, you were famous, dude. You were like legit celebrity status if you played for the Trojans or Bruins, but more specifically the Trojans. You were the man, dude. People were paparazzi was taking pictures of you. You really don't see that nowadays, right? Hopefully we can change things and turn things around, okay? Hopefully, now that they're gonna start paying these players, we can attract people to Southern California again. USC got the deep pockets to get these guys paid. The USC's TV contract is up in 2022, which is 3 years away, and they've already turned down extensions for the TV rights deal. So I hope they do something, and there's another video that I'm gonna make about this subject, about TV deals, TV contracts. At the time, in 2011, it was the biggest TV deal that college football ever signed with one, with Pac-12 and all that, right? That ever signed. It was a $3 billion deal, right? So they're making like $300 million a year amongst all these universities, right? Deep pockets, right? Now, maybe, hopefully, the players will get some of it in some manner or fashion. But anyways, long story short, the battle for land, that's going to be this Saturday. It's always an interesting game. I don't care how many wins or losses they have. If they're ranked high, it's even more interesting. It never takes away from that game. It's always a compelling game from people from Southern California. People come from all over the place because alumni, USC alumni, UCLA alumni, they make a good time of it. The town lights up for the Saturday amongst all the other activities that are going on in Hollywood, downtown LA, with the Staples Center, with everything that goes on in Santa Monica and everything surrounding it. It electrifies that weekend because of the fact that, one, when the game lets out, everybody goes out and has a good time. So it's an important thing. You get a lot of people together. These sporting events, they have multiple intrinsic benefits from them, from people getting together, the going back and forth, the playful camaraderie that everybody has with their alumni, and there's a sense of community, right? At Los Angeles in specific doesn't have, because everybody's so diverse here. There's so many transplants from all over the world, right? Because Hollywood, because LA, because everybody wants to be here, because of perfect weather. And that's why I'm doing this in the rain, to kind of contrast this idea of foul weather, right? We got some rain over here, and we're already upset because we got a little bit of rain for one day. But anyways, I digress. Check the game out. It's a very interesting game. I'll probably put a link on the description there to kind of, if you guys want to follow, go somewhere else and go watch it. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but anyways, I'll come up with something. But long story short, I think it's a very interesting game. Everybody always looks forward to it, and that's why I did a video on it. Anyways, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell me what you think in the comments. I want to hear it. Are you USC, UCLA? Do you think it matters? Of course it does. Don't ever say it doesn't matter. That's bad. But anyways, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later. Bye.